Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a brand new episode of No Holds Barred. It's your boy, OleManWinter, with a new episode, coming with that rough, rugged, and raw, real shit. Welcome to the podcast program, video essay, whatever the fuck you want to call it. You know how we do here, you know what I'm saying? I'm here, and let's get to it. So, a friend of mine brought this show to my attention, and it's called Small Acts. It's an episodic anthology series on Prime Video. From what I gathered, I had to stop after three episodes, but from what I gather, it's mostly geared towards, it's a focus on black folks and their struggles throughout the different, generations and years with the system of white supremacy. Um, this actually takes place in Europe. The show gives a perspective of the system of white supremacy across the pond, and it's extremely interesting because this is the perspective of black folks being victims of the system of white supremacy in Europe, and it just opens a lot of our eyes. We know white supremacy is a global domination campaign. It's not just America. It's not just here that we face that. This is a worldwide movement. The white supremacists control the world, and the show is just so hardcore, on the once they own topic, because they had like one little off code episode, the episode two I really didn't like. That shit didn't have shit to do with the shit. But episode one and episode three, man, it'll make you wanna motherfucking punch through the back of a white supremacist motherfucking skull. You know what I'm saying? Like shit will piss you the fuck off. It pissed me the fuck off. And it's just another reminder of the fact that us as black folks, we're under a tyrannical reign. It's it's ridiculous. The white supremacists dominate us from coast to coast, shore to shore, on every continent of this motherfucking world, and it's fucking disgusting. And their tactics don't change. Them British motherfuckers with them accents and pip pip cheerio and all of that shit, they just as racist and just as fucked up as these Americanized race soldiers over here. The only thing different is none of them carry guns, on either side, us or them. I feel like they got a better fighting chance of some shit, you know what I'm saying? Because them cocksuckers rocking billy clubs, they could really bang with them bitches. Here we getting gunned down left and right fucking with the race soldiers over here. But just the shit is just fucking disgusting. When you sit there and watch this, and it may be some spoilers. So anybody that decides they want to tune in and watch, you might want to go to the show. It's called Small Acts on Amazon Prime. Um, there you go. If you don't want any spoilers, then stop it now and go and watch the show. Episode one and three, you might want to skip two. This bullshit, I promise you. And it's got some more episodes, but I couldn't stomach any more after episode two because you can take blatant white supremacy. You gotta take that shit in small doses because you can't take that shit all on at one time. Well, I just couldn't. I didn't have the stomach for it at this point in time. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's just another fucking example of the system of the system of white supremacy. This isn't just one or two white supremacists. From start to finish, from top to fucking bottom, the white supremacists have this shit on lock. You know what I'm saying? This shit is by complete design. There's no the happenstance. There's no well, they just a small case of getting away with some shit. No, it's not just a few bad apples getting away with some shit. It's a tyrannical reign that's meant to be blatant and meant to be in your face and meant to be domineering and meant to put motherfuckers in their place. Never try to rise above your station is what the message the white supremacists are fucking sending. And that's what these people were going through. It was the first episode was I don't remember quite where the people originated from as far as black folks. They were, I'm not sure, from Africa or the Caribbean, one or the other. But I didn't even catch why the white supremacists decided to target this man. He had like a little, restaurant or whatever. But for whatever frivolous, stupid fucking reason, the system of white supremacy really don't need a reason. They see you doing something, they see you trying to build some shit, and that's all the reason they had. These motherfuckers just picked this man and his fucking business and decide they were gonna just terrorize him and his customers into fucking submission. I mean, and this is based on a true story, so, this is another thing. I'm not sure of the other episodes, I know the first episode. Based on a true story, you know what I'm saying? And if you think true stories, you know what I'm saying, or this shit has a happy ending, the shit don't. You know what I'm saying? So that be the fucking, what a motherfucker need to understand. Shit, I'll get to that point. So basically, they got some white supremacist cops, you know what I'm saying? They just decided to pick this man's restaurant to target. Like I say, I didn't catch the reason. I don't believe it was any legitimate reason other than I'm white and I'm say so. That's the law of the land, no matter what country you in. They decided to just start raiding this man's restaurant, accused him of doing all type of bullshit. They knew he didn't have shit going on. They wanted to punish him. They wanted to gold him. And another thing that I see with the white supremacists, this is a fucking cult. I'm gonna start calling this shit the cult of white supremacy. They are willing to put their lives on the line to protect the system. They don't care about their individual lives. They can't possibly care about their individual lives, the things that they're willing to do to another human being. They're doing things that is worth death, that, would push some people to actually commit, homicide against them. Just because you got a badge don't make you bulletproof or death-proof. You know what I'm saying? But these white folks are so committed to the system of white supremacy, they're willing to take the fucking risk of pushing a motherfucker on some point of making a motherfucker actually plot and want to kill them and shit. And they will be willing to sacrifice their life to further the cause of white supremacy. This is how dedicated they are to this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because the way that they are willing to violate a motherfucker, the lengths and deepness of violation is ridiculous. It's calls for instant death on a lot of these situations. You kill somebody's baby, you motherfucking harass a motherfucker into submission. You fuck with a motherfucker so deep for no reason at all other than just evil. then you know a white supremacist reaction would be to kill that motherfucker. And they can't say that it wouldn't be. They know they're pushing the motherfucker so far that the shit is worthy of fucking death. And they still fucking do it because they willing, if they run across that wrong motherfucker that say, I'm going to enact the laws of the universe. Fuck these man-made laws. I'm about to go to the laws of the universe. And I'm going to administer justice by the laws of the universe. And if you violate a motherfucker in a certain manner, the laws of the universe calls for fucking death. They're willing to accept them running across the wrong, or what I say, the right motherfucker that says, fuck the laws of man, fuck the laws of the white supremacists, fuck they bullshit ass system and shit like that with they bullshit judges, bullshit DAs, and bullshit jailhouses. I'm going to the laws of nature. I'm going to the laws of the universe. And I'm going to eye for an eye. I'm going to give what I got. You know, they have to know if somebody is going to defend themselves accordingly. But they don't care. They're white. They know 9 times out of 10 that everything is on their fucking side until they make a motherfucker snap and a motherfucker don't give a fuck, but they won't give a fuck because they know that person is going to be dealt with because we're still under a system of white supremacy. That's why I say it's more of a cult. It's a cult of white supremacy because they're willing to put their lives on the line, put themselves in dangerous situations just to harm, subjugate, disrespect, and dehumanize black folks. You know, that's a sickness. That's a mind state that's beyond what I can even understand. I'm not going to sit here and disrespect a complete stranger based on the fact of their skin color. That's fucking stupid. That's ridiculous. But it's not to the cult of white supremacy. But that's just everyday business to the cult of white supremacy. If they run across the right Negro that's willing to say, fuck all this other shit, I'm throwing caution to the wind, and I'm gonna handle my business, they like, fuck it, it's my time to go. Even though they instigated some shit, started some shit, fucked with a motherfucker for no reason, and they were completely in the wrong, they'll just take that, fuck it, you know, I fucked with the wrong nigga, but I know the system's still gonna deal with him. He ain't gonna be able to get away with shit. No matter how wrong I was, no matter if I raped his wife, raped his kids, murdered his kids, did whatever the fuck, system gonna deal with him. So if I gotta take that L, it's not gonna do nothing but further the agenda of white supremacy even more. Because then the propaganda arm of the system or the code of white supremacy is going to take effect then. Now, this man might have had his whole family raped by this white supremacy, and he took the law into his own hands or followed the law of the universe and murdered this motherfucker for what he fucking did. And that white supremacist media, they're going to demonize that man. They're going to act like he the worst. They ain't going to give a fuck about what that white supremacist did. They don't going to give a fuck about what the nigga did. You know what I'm saying? The system of white supremacy protects itself, it protects its members, and it's fully into the subjugation of black folks. There's nothing to justify a black person retaliating. It's nothing a white person can do in a system or the code of white supremacy. It's nothing a white person can do that justifies the retaliation of a black person. What a black person is supposed to do under the system is go to this ridiculous court system and try to obtain justice, which they won't receive, and which takes us back to Small Axe episode 1. So they harassed this man damn near to submission to the point where the whole community has to gather and protest against, with their, what is that, peaceful protest bullshit, which I don't believe in. You know what I'm saying? They aren't peaceful. When they shoot a motherfucking nigga down, they shoot a motherfucker in the back, they do whatever the fuck. That shit ain't peaceful. When you out, the reason that you out there marching is for some shit that they did that wasn't peaceful. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. That's why I'm saying we need to start going to the laws of the universe, the laws of nature. You know what I'm saying? We sitting here abiding by man-made law. If you religious and you follow the Bible, it says you're supposed to obey the laws of the land, not the laws of man, the laws of the land. That's motherfucking the laws of nature. The way shit's supposed to go, you're supposed to obey. The laws of the universe. You're not supposed to just go along with any bullshit that these motherfuckers do. But again, getting back to what happens in this sixth story, they finally got fed up. They decided to peacefully protest. They out there got big numbers too. And remember, they in England. All the other motherfuckers can do is bring billy clubs. If they would have just brought billy clubs too, they would have been overly outmatching these motherfuckers. But they go out there, protest or whatever. The cops start just snatching their ass up. They wasn't doing shit. I didn't even see I may have to go back and watch it again. I never seen them doing nothing violent towards them cops or anything. I never seen no reason for them cops to react. The cops were already on bullshit. They was on bullshit from day one till they got to this point. They just start randomly snatching, like, I guess what they would deem or singled out as the leaders of the movement. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, in this billy club ass world that they was living in, you snatch one of us, we snatching one of you. We ain't letting you take nobody out this motherfucker. It's too many of us to let you apprehend anybody out here. Whatever we do, you gonna have to let us do. Because we sorely outnumbering you, and all you motherfuckers got is billy clubs. But, black folks are docile. They preaching, let's get out here and peacefully protest and all that. That shit is a fallacy. This is how you get fucked over. This is how what happens afterwards happens. At least make these motherfuckers come kick in doors and come snatch y'all motherfucking asses out your crib and y'all sleep once y'all done broke up. But you never let a motherfucker snatch a motherfucker out that crowd. Bitch, we gonna snatch one of y'all too. If we can't get that motherfucker back, we snatching, and we gonna snatch all you bitches up eventually, because no matter what, they call for backup and all this, but they still had them motherfuckers outnumbered, and they still ain't got shit but billy clubs, and if y'all smart, y'all would've had them too. But going on to the story, snatching black folks up out the motherfucking crowd, the ringleaders, what they call them and shit. So this shit was a protest, but these motherfuckers wanna take this shit, once the shit is over with, they really trying to slam these niggas. They really try taking them to the most highest court of the fucking land, and they trying to make this shit a big deal. They charge them with some inciting a riot and some other thing I've never heard of. It must be a type of British law or something. I don't know what the other part, what they were saying that was. I don't know what that word was. But the shit, I guess, was supposed to be some serious fucking charges and shit. So they put the black folks on trial. It was 9 of them. They put them on motherfucking trial for this fucking peaceful protest that, from what, like I say, they never turned fucking violent. The police just start snatching motherfuckers because they knew who was the leaders and all that shit. They just start snatching motherfuckers because they were upset with what the fuck was going on. They already knew what they was gonna do. As always, the system of white supremacy has a fucking plan. Oh yeah, and going, doubling back throughout the motherfucking show, even when dude was getting harassed and shit, you know how it go. The judicial system was backing up the bullshit the fucking white supremacist cops was doing. They come fuck him up, harass him, snatch him, lock him up, and then he fuck around, get fined on the trumped up charges the white supremacists made up to justify they fucking illegitimate raids and shit. And the white supremacist judge, as part of the cult of white supremacy, was steady signing off on them bogus, unwarranted fucking warrants and shit. So this is what I'm talking about. System of white supremacy, it protects each other. It got everyone's back. It's always circling the wagons. They're always going to make sure they're in a winning situation, no matter what the situation is. So in order to protect these cops on their trumped up bullshit charge and to allow them to continue harassing these good black people, that's doing nothing wrong, the judge just rubber stamps the fucking trumped up motherfucking charge and allow a motherfucker to be fined and all type of other shit. So this was preceding all the way out. That was part of what built up to this big protest. So getting on to the nitty-gritty of this shit, they have to go on trial. These cops coming in there, they lying through their motherfucking teeth. You know what I'm saying? They catching them up that they on bullshit. They being unfair. They trying to rough them up and shit when they saying what's real. It's just a shit show. Oh yeah, and they all represent themselves. It was part of strike. All that shit is irrelevant. I don't even know if that shit happened for us. They be putting theatrical shit as some shit too. But basically, the shit was obvious, you know what I'm saying, that the cops was on bullshit. It was just a shit show. They was just railroading motherfuckers. The judge was a fucking asshole that, was another white supremacist. Like I say, the system protects itself. From the DA to the judge was shooting down a lot of reasonable requests that they were making in the courtroom. And it was just, the typical white supremacist fucking trial, where you railroading and, the niggas is just have no chance because I'm white and I'm say so. And the white supremacists just make up the rules as they go along when it comes to fucking with niggas. So going through this, it's a TV show. So we know where this shit going, They building this shit up, you can tell the atmosphere of this shit. Oh, they're gonna, eventually, they making it look dramatic, but yeah, they're gonna find the black folks not guilty and shit. That's the part of the, show making it a feel good or ending on a high note type shit. But the whole shit pissed me off because these white supremacists was fucking with these people basically for no fucking reason and shit. And the people really were completely justified in whatever the fuck, but they never did shit. Be clear, they never did shit, but they would have been justified if they did. You know what I'm saying? But, so the shit build up, motherfuckers catch the cops and all type of lies. They act like it's all dramatic about what the jury is gonna say. Jury finds everybody not guilty. Boom, show over. But the part that was really disgusting is this is based on a true story, remember that. This ain't just a fairy tale where everybody lives happily ever after. In the end credits of this shit, giving a motherfucker a breakdown of what happened after that, even though the show ended on a good note to try to make a motherfucker feel like they got a win, come to find out the police harassed these motherfuckers for 18 more motherfucking years. Nothing stopped these bitches from doing what they were doing. It didn't slow down, stop, or even make the white supremacists think twice about continuing the fucking harassment. They brought the man to trial 3 more motherfucking times. Yeah, he beat the shit, but what the fuck? And he got a little bullshit settlement, and they thought they was gonna make a motherfucker feel like it was some good shit, that it was the highest settlement a motherfucker got ever, or some shit. It still was only like 50,000 euros. But for 18 years of harassment, having to go to trial 3, 4 motherfucking times on trumped up motherfucking charges that make it all the way to trial? And in the motherfucking end, even after the motherfucking settlement, they still ended up closing up the motherfucking shop like 2 years after the settlement, which means the harassment continued, or he just got tired and he been battling these motherfuckers for 20 some odd years at this motherfucking point. He just was like, fuck it. You know, fuck it. That shit wasn't no win. That shit wasn't no good shit. The show ended on a high note, but that man's life was fucked for, they ruined that man's life. They harassed, that means they had motherfuckers that started off harassing this man that had retired, and it was other motherfuckers that came in and took up the motherfucking mantle of this shit. You had they had to been recruiting new motherfuckers to keep the shit going. That's the system of white supremacy. You know they're relentless. They don't give the fuck up. They don't take a fucking loss. Look at this Derek Chauvin shit. They talking about one of the jurors had on a Black Lives Matter t-shirt. So now they're calling for basically a mistrial. They're asking for a new trial. Because he had on a Black Lives Matter t-shirt? How the fuck is that relevant to anything that fucking happened in that case? That makes no sense. But it does make sense in a system or the cult of white supremacy. It makes sense to the cultists of white supremacy for sure. Because the rules of the cult of white supremacy is, I'm white and I say so. This shit has no legal bearing on anything. It's nothing. But I'm going to ask for a new trial because I'm white and I say so. Ain't no way this man's supposed to go to jail for leaning on a nigga neck. That's a white man's right. That's a white man's right to put a knee on a nigga neck for 10 motherfucking minutes or whatever the fuck. That's his right. Ain't no way. Oh, it's a Black Lives Matter. This one of the people had a Black Lives Matter t-shirt on. Motherfuckers probably knew about the shit even before they put him on the jury. To be his little trump card or whatever the fuck it is. And now I'm white, I'm say so. No legal precedence has anything that says because a juror had on a Black Lives Matter t-shirt, which sounds dumb as fuck, that a motherfucker should have a mistrial. You select a jury from a pool of people from all walks of life, supporting Black Lives Matter doesn't disqualify you from the jury pool. If you're doing your job as an attorney, and he knows this, and anybody that knows anything about a law knows this, it's his job to vet the fucking jurors, to see who the fuck gets on. They get the option to dismiss jurors and all type of shit like that. So now, because you're trying to act like you wasn't aware he wore a t-shirt one day, which, like I say, I'm white and I say so. Now you think you're supposed to get a whole new trial. Same shit with this shit. It's disgusting. You're dealing with the system of white supremacy. There's nothing to deter the white supremacists to continue from continuing doing what they do. The system encourages it. The system demands it. That's why the judges back up anything these motherfuckers do. The judges is a part of it. The judges are a bigger part of the system of white supremacy than these fucking race soldiers on the streets. They the low level. The judges, the senators, the president, all those political people behind the scenes. These are the people that, wield the power and institute the cult. And they protect it at all costs. And this is happening here, happens across the pond too, as we see in this show Small Acts. At no time did anybody take action to stop this harassment. This man was brought to court and let off 3-4 times. There was nothing he could have done in recourse in a fair system. If it were a fair system, there would be plenty of things you could do in recourse. There was nothing he could do in recourse about this blatant onslaught of harassment for almost 20 plus years. That left him eventually still walking away from his fucking restaurant. It's fucking disgusting. Now, we skipping, like I say, episode 2, and we go on to episode 3. In episode 3, the guy kind of reminds me of what I thought I could do one point in my own personal life. So it was a young boy, he wanted to become a cop for some reason. He ended up being like forensic scientist or whatever. His father was like adamantly against the police. And they showed a little precursor scene showing his father really telling like the boy, never fuck with the police basically and shit. And the police was harassing him when he was a kid. But for some reason, the kid was just like giving it in to the cops. It was like, well, it's no big deal, whatever. And the dad made a big deal about it. And the kid went on to, I'm not going to say he was a coon either, you know what I'm saying? He was a idealistic guy, you know what I'm saying? He was idealistic. He wasn't a coon. At one point in time, I felt the shit that this motherfucker felt, you know what I'm saying? So he grew up, he was a forensic scientist. He left that job to become a fucking beat cop because he actually felt that being a cop, he could make a difference and make a fucking change into the system. And this is at a more modern age than what that other episode was about. I think the episode, the first one was maybe in the 60s, early 60s, late 50s, early 60s. This might have been the 80s or 90s or something. And it honestly also showed me that, in some areas, it's more racist over there, more segregated, because at the time, it was like modern times, and it was still unheard of there of black folks like being cops and shit. None of the black people were cops. Like if you was, if you like a real, like a motherfucker breaking ground, at least at the time of this story, if you was black becoming a cop. Like to the point that when he went through the process of shit, they wanted to use him as the like poster boy recruiting person to try to market becoming an officer to other quote unquote minorities. You know how I feel about that shit, you know. But and to encourage other people that were not white to become cops, even though you know that was disingenuous. But that's once they start trying to pretend like they politically correct, they start instituting all of this type of shit. Because, like I said before, on that worldwide stage, nobody wants to look like they the country, that's based on racism. Um, so, he was so idealistic, he left his good job as a forensic scientist to go to the academy. He went through all that. And in the academy, they treated him with respect. They acted like, it was a new day, they was encouraging him, talking about how, I guess these was the motherfuckers that wasn't on bullshit, even though, like I say, they all was on bullshit. But they actually made him feel like he had, in his experience in the academy was the experience a motherfucker should have had and should have had their whole career. Colleagues respected him, respected his opinion, even if they were something that I would think they would have had negative reactions to. They were encouraging it. Nobody said shit about it. But once that man got to the precinct, and got, dove in them motherfucking waters, oh no. He was in the thick of it then, you know what I'm saying? Those goddamn white supremacists on that force, they didn't give a fuck about him. They gradually just got on bullshit with him. They did the typical white supremacist cowardly tactics. Nobody confronted them to their face. They talk loud in front of them saying racist shit. There's like in joking manner. They go home nigga or something about a nigga on his locker, like some little bitches when he wasn't around. Which he tripped them out. Like I commend him. Like I say, he wasn't no coon. He said, like, you coward ass motherfuckers, next time you do it while I'm standing here, you bitches. But just going on, I think he realized, it wasn't just blatantly said, but I think he realized, and when I was watching it, what I realized a long time ago, it's no one man can't get in that bitch and fix it. It ain't no fixing that shit. They dominate it, and it's part of this. It's one of the biggest parts on a ground level of the system of white supremacy. You're not gonna get in there as one man and change that. All you can do is fucking conform. And I think he fucking eventually learned that lesson after dealing with the increasing racism bullshit with them. But they were always cowardly with it. When he would confront them, they just sit there and look at him like he crazy. You niggas just wrote nigga on my lock and all this other shit. But then when I'm talking to you, nobody want to fess up and y'all just looking at nigga crazy. When I'm calling for backup, when I'm trying to apprehend a suspect, and you motherfuckers sitting around the corner but not responding, I could have lost my life, whatever the fuck, and he come trip they bitch ass out about that, they just look at him crazy. Because they looking like, nigga, I thought you knew you lived in a system of white supremacy. Nigga, we don't want you here. If you gonna be a good boy and be here, that's what you gotta put up with. You guys suck plenty of white dick around this motherfucker. That's the only way we might kinda tolerate you, but you think you about to come in this motherfucker and maintain being a real nigga? No, you gonna either break down and be a bitch and be our lapdog, or we're gonna run you up out this bitch. In which he had a buddy that was like Arabian and shit, which they did run him the fuck off. And even on that motherfucking episode, it left on a cliffhanger. I don't even know what the fuck happened, what the fuck. He was talking to his dad and the shit just cut off. Like, it's no closure to none of these stories. Like, I don't know if that was based on a true story or not. That one didn't even give you the feel good shit. The other one did, but then told you, you know, everything's ended up still being bullshit. This one just ended. He still was on the force, but it was just like he knew that this shit was just some bullshit that was bigger than him. And you don't know where that shit ended. But it's just going to show you that it's just examples upon examples of the cult of white supremacy at work. You know, we synced it in all type of shit, you know, 12 years a slave, roots, you know, you name it shit. It's been so many movies to show you the example of the evil of these people, you know, and how much they're dedicated to the cult of white supremacy. You know, it'll piss you the fuck off, you know what I'm saying, if you let it. And when you think about it, it can be overwhelming. Because it's almost like walking around in handcuffs all day, every day for your whole life. You know, when you know that if a white motherfucker say or do some shit, you up shit's creek without a motherfucking paddle because the system is gonna protect them and it's meant to destroy you. You gotta live your life on defense. You can't just be out here and live your life just willy-nilly. You gotta be cautious at all times. You gotta be cautious when you riding down the street and them bitches get behind you. You gotta be cautious what neighborhood you're riding through. You gotta be cautious where you live at. You gotta be cautious about what you say or do on social media. You gotta be cautious on what you do on YouTube. You know, we just have such a burden dealing with the system that it's just mind-blowing at some points. You know, the racial wealth gap, you know, this terroristic police departments all across the country. Countries now seeing the shit that those couple examples across the pond. You know, this shit ain't cool, you know, but you know, we just got to maintain and we got to keep fighting against this shit and try to create a better way for those that comes after us. We got to try to pave a way and try to carve out, you know what I'm saying, try to chop the head off of this shit, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like we at a critical point in history now too, to where we have to take the system of white supremacy down a huge peg, if not just destroy this shit altogether. And I'm not saying we have to kill white folks. I'm saying we have to kill the cult of white supremacy. So this has been another episode of No Holds Barred. It's your man, OleManWinter. Like I said before, in that comments section, if you would agree with me, disagree with me, think I'm full of shit, think I'm all the way on point, whatever the fuck, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button, hit the dislike button if you don't like the shit I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? But again, another episode of No Holds Barred in the books. We out.